Hey guys, this is John from US Dash Camera. Today I got a review on a new dash camera from AnnKoo. Not sure if that's how you pronounce it, with the AD-01. Now, normally I don't do reviews on cameras from brands I've never heard of unless there's something special about them. And the reason I decided to do the review on this, they actually did reach out to me. The camera is about $70 and it has 1296p. So I wanted to see, if it is a decent camera with good 1296p footage at only $70. So it's got a pretty discreet box, just a picture. I already unboxed it, so there's just a manual in there. It is a pretty basic looking camera. What I do like though, it almost feels like metal. I'm not sure if this is like a magnesium or what it is, or if it's just a really hard plastic, but it does make it feel like it's higher quality. Now it's got, as it says there, 1296p. Then we got FNO 2.0 field of view 170 with high dynamic range. And what's interesting is this camera went with 1/4" or the standard tripod style mount. So if you have anything else that uses that standard camera screw mount, this is compatible. So you tighten it, then once it's up on your window, if you wanted to, you could turn it around to record something going on inside your car. So that's pretty cool. Then it comes with a pretty generic power cord. It uses mini USB. It does have a USB charging port there. And it does output 12.1 amps. So I like that they didn't just use a really cheap 1 amp USB port, because this will make charging your phone a little bit better. It's not going to be quick charge, but it's better than those really cheap 1 amp ones. So let's go ahead and check out the menu. So there's up and down buttons here. You hit that to stop the recording, and then once you're in the menu you use that also to select stuff. That is the menu. So one thing I realized or thought was really nice is this LCD screen is actually really nice. It has pretty high resolution. A lot of dash cameras have a low resolution screen. So for how cheap this is, I was pretty impressed with that. Now I'm not going to go over everything in this because most of it's pretty standard. It does have some of the standard features in cameras nowadays, like lane departure warning. You can change how long the screen stays on, the resolution up to 1296p. And I did want to point out this does have a parking monitoring mode, but you have to manually turn it on each time if you want to use it. And then it can use its internal battery instead of being hardwired. And then if it senses an impact, it'll start recording. Now it also has the motion detection, but I found that with these settings there's quite a bit of delay. So like, I'll show this clip of when I walked in front of the camera with the motion detection on, and you see me pop up about 1.5 seconds or maybe even 2 seconds after I should have come into the picture. So I don't think it's really an ideal parking mode. If you're looking for a camera with parking mode, there's definitely better options out there even in this price range. So that's something that I wasn't too excited about. But besides that, yeah, the menu's pretty simple. Other than the very nice LCD screen, there wasn't anything that really caught me by surprise. So let's take a look at some footage now. So overall, with the video quality, I was quite disappointed. I know it is a budget camera, but I was hoping maybe this would be one of the budget cameras that was sort of a good find, good value. And it's not to say it's not a good value. It's still an okay camera, but I think part of the problem is 1296p isn't a big leap from 1080p, so if you really need higher resolution, I would recommend a 1440p camera. But just in general, the camera just didn't look any better than most other cameras around the $50 to $70 range. And when I say that, I mean including 1080p cameras, so there's just not a big enough difference. I looked up this camera to try to find the specs, and I couldn't even find anywhere that listed what image sensor it uses, and there's just a lot of specs that are missing from all of the listings on websites, so it's a little strange to me. They don't usually, dashcam companies like to brag about what kind of image sensor it has or how high the bitrate is, and the bitrate here isn't that bad. It's 16 megabits per second overall about, and that should be expected, I think, nowadays for a camera, especially that's 1296p, but I'm just not really seeing the benefit of that higher resolution here. And you're not going to see it on YouTube because YouTube doesn't have a 1296p mode, so this is just going to be in 1080p, and you'll have to take my word for it, I guess. Now, I think the important thing for a lot of people is the video quality is still good enough that if you're in an accident and the person doesn't flee or doesn't sideswipe you at a high speed, it's still going to show who's at fault, and that's what it ultimately comes down to. And I feel like someone that's looking for a budget camera is looking for something like that, because obviously they're not spending $200 or $400 on something like a Blackview camera with GPS, buffered parking mode, Wi-Fi, and all this other stuff. So if you're just looking for a simple camera, the video quality is okay, but again, like I said, I just was hoping for a little bit better. So now, before we jump into the night video, I did want to show that clip right here. You'll see me cut to this clip, and you'll see me standing right in front of the car. So that was where the motion detection, when I was trying out the parking mode, started recording. I walked around my car, and you'll see I just suddenly appeared there in the center, because there is that 1 to 2 second delay. So that's why I wouldn't personally recommend this camera if you're looking for a parking mode. If you're looking for something like that, there's definitely a lot better options, especially if you're willing to spend more money on something like the Blackview DR590 series. Now, even though I said I was disappointed with the video quality, I did feel like the night quality was decent. While it's grainier, and you're not going to be able to read license plates much at all unless they're directly in front of you or in the best lighting, but the low light quality I thought was pretty good. I did recently get this car, it's just a used car, that happened to have HID lights, and I think that has been helping my videos recently in the night quality. My truck doesn't, it just has standard lights, so in these more recent videos where I'm driving this 07 Prius, it'll look like the road's much brighter, and a lot of that does have to do with my HID lights. But even in the darker areas under street lights, it does seem pretty adequate. And I feel like the past few years, even the budget cameras like this one have been getting better at low light or night conditions. So I wasn't blown away or impressed, but it was adequate, I thought.
So all in all, I can't say I was terribly impressed with the camera, but it's not a bad camera either. It just, it's pretty generic. Like I said earlier, one of the things I like is the build quality feels very nice. The LCD screen is very nice, but unfortunately the 1296p just doesn't look that great. I think it's not a big enough jump between 1080p anyways, so if you're looking for higher resolution, I'd suggest looking for 1440p, and for not much more than this camera you can get something like the A119, but if you're really on a budget, it's not a terrible camera, like I said. But at this price range, I think there's probably other cameras that are a better value too, so I think it's really going to come down to personal preference. I don't think I would personally buy this as a gift or anything for someone over, say, some of the Anchors, but again, it is interesting that it uses the screw mount I do like that. I like that it has a decent quality suction cup mount. And like I said earlier, I do like that it does have the additional port with 2.1 amp charging. So all in all, it's not a great camera, but it's a budget camera. It didn't impress me a whole lot. Like I said, I was hoping it would be a good find, a camera that was great for the price, but instead it's just standard for the price. So anyways, I hope this video was helpful. If you like this video or my other videos, of course, I'd appreciate if you hit like and subscribe. And as usual, drive safe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.